welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share how reality has been just so interesting lately, and that we're all perfectly placed exactly where we need to be to do the work that we need to do. And even though we may not know, and for the most part we don't know the work that we're actually doing underneath the layers, it's being done through us, that we just get to trust where we are being led and where we are. And there's some moments where I experience, even in my own reality, when sometimes I see all the layers of it. I see the character that I'm playing, and then I am observing the character that I'm playing for a certain person in my life, and I'm observing it from the higher perspective and seeing this vessel play a certain character with a certain person to help them awaken, to help myself awaken through them, and vice versa. And that's all we're here for. That's what we're doing right now, is we are awakening each other through poking and prodding our wounds, through loving each other, through forgetting how to love each other, through everything that is playing out in our lives is perfect, and it is for the higher mission. It is for our awakening. Everything that is happening is for our awakening. We are in the process of awakening right now. And lately it's been really interesting because I've been waiting to leave Canada, or Ontario, where I am, and I've been guided to just camp and spend a lot of time at my family. So I've seen friends and stuff like that here and there too when I feel called to spend time with someone, but it's literally just been like camping and being alone and blissing out in my own reality in nature, feeling amazing, and then feeling a tug within me and getting a little visual of where I'm meant to go next, and then following that visual, following that tug of where I should go next, and not knowing why, just trusting my instincts, trusting my intuition, trusting the divine mother that is guiding me through my own body, and then going to that place. And when I am driving to the space, or the people, the place that I'm feeling called to go to next, I literally feel the dimension and the timeline I'm driving into. Sometimes most of the time I am descending. I am moving through the energy fields, through the timelines, and I'm going back to the roots. I'm going back to a certain place in time where there is still stuck energy, where there are still wounds that are stuck in time. There's still old wounds there within other people, within myself. For the most part, it is within other aspects of myself and other people. And I go in and I play this character to just exist in their field, literally just existing in their field, and something naturally plays out in the dynamics that bring things to light, that are ready to be brought to light. We become the light in the dark places. We literally become the light. And then we are traveling to these other realms. We're traveling to these other dimensions, other timelines, whatever you want to call it, to bring the light. And then we shine a light. Just our existence in that field shines a light on the aspects of the other people, which is an aspect of you, because we're all one. It is shining a light on the aspects of yourself that are still holding on to old stories in the other person, but also it could be in your own vessel. You might still be holding on stories. But so yeah, this like there's moments where I drop into a reality. I descend and I feel the energy shifts, and I feel the energy shifts and happening in my body as I'm descending into a certain reality, let's just call it. And I can feel how everything is different there. Everything is different there. It may look the same, the trees may look the same, the people may look the same, but it's different. This is what it is to shift into different, we're time travelers. We are shifting into different dimensions, whether we realize it or not. The more subtly you tune your being to energies, and the more we're learning this, we're getting better at this. It's a process for me to feel the subtleties of energy, and I'm still learning, and I'm still feeling energies more on a subtle layer, and it's just getting clearer and easier to feel. But where I'm at now is I can feel the vibration, the frequency of the reality I'm existing in. And when I am shifting, when I'm going to visit people or go to certain places, I feel the dimension, the portal, whatever you want to call it, that I'm traveled to. I can feel the frequency of it, and it's a totally different world. It's a totally different reality where they are experiencing an entirely different world than you are. They are perceiving the world and experiencing the world completely different than you are. So when I travel to different places, and it could be literally just 20 minutes away, I go into a coffee shop and I can feel the reality that people are existing there. And places like that are more of a portal, because it's a portal, like a hub, and multiple different people that are living in different experiences and in different realities come to meet in this one hub. And then, yeah, sure, they're just having coffee on the outside. It just looks like a bunch of people having coffee, but it's so much more cosmic than that. You could be called to go do, this happens to me all the time, where I feel called to go to a coffee shop and just sit there. And so I just go and sit there, and I sit there, and as long as my being wants to sit there, I play on my computer, whatever, I write. But to trust that, because nothing is a mistake on the cosmic level, all of these people that came from all of their different realities to that were just, they think that they just wanted to go get a coffee, but in reality, the Divine Mother, God, Goddess, whatever you want to call it, is pulling them, is playing them like a puppet in a way, and they think it's just their thoughts. They think it was just their choice to go there, but no, it's so much bigger. There's a divine force moving through us all, and it pulls us into the places that we need to be to awaken. And as we awaken, and the more awakened we are, we see it, we feel it, we see it, we're aware of it always happening. And they might just be sitting there having their coffee, having no idea what is happening other than them having their coffee, and they leave and they go home. But what is happening in the energetics, is they're receiving codes. You are transferring codes to them just by being in the field. So you're plopping into that portal in that field with all of those other beings. There's no mistake in it. Every single one of those beings is meant to be there to receive your codes and to share codes with all the other beings. So now you're sharing one energy field in this portal, and everyone is giving and receiving codes and activations, and everyone is waking up through your vessel, through your energy field, and also you are waking up to another layer and level of yourself and the truth through their fields. We're always all sharing codes, so just to trust where you are led. You are always led exactly where you are meant to be. So this has been my reality. We can travel through time just by driving or walking, for 10 minutes, for 20 minutes, depending on the energetics of where we're going and where we're led. We're always shape-shifting through time and space. And lately I've been playing some interesting roles, and there's sometimes I'm aware of what I'm doing. There's sometimes I'm the observer and I'm watching this character, Alyssa, wear a different role. It's like she wears a different mask. She puts on a different character depending on the reality that she's in. It's like I'm aware of watching myself play this character for someone else in my reality, which is just an aspect of myself. And I'm like, whoa, what am I saying right now? And just trusting it. There's no room for doubt. It's just happening through you, and you're kind of just observing it, but it's literally just happening through you. And before, I wasn't aware that it was happening through me because I was unconscious. I was not aware of what I was doing. I was unconscious, just playing out these things. And you do play out these things still unconsciously in some ways, but for the most part, as we awaken, it becomes more and more and more and more conscious of what we're doing. But there's certain places I travel to, there's certain portals and there's certain people I spend time with where I feel myself descending into this reality, into this dimension, into this frequency. And I'm like, oh boy, okay, here we go. And then my awareness, my level of awareness of self and the world around me, and it's like they get left behind a little bit in the frequency, in the dimension that I was existing in. As I travel back in time, it's like it's kind of like back in time. As I travel to this place, I feel like how I experience it is like losing certain levels of awareness that I am in when I'm existing in this field, in my own energy, in my own field. I merge with the field that I'm traveling to, that I'm being called to visit, to be in. I merge with that field and I become that field. And then what plays through me is usually, in this experience, there's moments where I am aware, I am the witness, and I'm aware that I am playing a character. And then there's also some moments in it where I go so deep into it. It's like its own ayahuasca, and this is what I've been experiencing. It's like I did ayahuasca a few years ago, and ayahuasca is still working through me and my life. The Divine Mother is still working through me and my life, using me as a vessel to awaken others, which is just myself, other aspects of me. And we're all being used for the greater good. We're all being used for the greatest good of humanity. We're all being played, and I think I was always being played, but I know how deeply I'm being used. I don't even want to say used, being in service. My vessel is in devotion and service to all beings everywhere now, because I've chosen that. I've made that decision within myself of being that, of setting aside my own personal stories, my own personal identities, of setting aside my desires, of setting aside everything and saying, Divine Mother, God, Goddess, I'm here, use me. Make me a vessel of your peace. Make me a vessel of your awakening. Make me a vessel of your love. And for years, I have prayed that prayer. For years, I have keep showing up to do my inner work so that I can show up as the best version of self, of you, to play a bigger role in this awakening, to play my role, to play the code that I came to play in this experience. You are a code. We all are a code, and we all came to play a different code. What you came to do is different than what I came to do. The characters, because you don't just play one character. You play a different character for every single person in your life. You're constantly playing different characters. And the characters that you came to play for your awakening and the awakening of other beings around you is different than the code that I came here to play. So I just trust my path and the code that I am, and I let it lead me, because I actually have no idea what the Divine Mother's plan is. I know that it's for the greatest good of all. I know that we are awakening because it's happening through me. I'm seeing it. I'm more aware than I am the day before. Every single day I'm stepping into a brand new reality and a brand new way of being, where I can see more and perceive more and feel more every day. And if this is happening for me, then it is happening for all beings, because I am all beings and all beings are me. We are all connected. And yeah, to go back to what I was saying before, there's certain dimensions and realities that I travel to with certain beings that I'm so deep in the medicine of it. I am so deep in the character of playing that character that I can't see what I'm doing. I can't observe from the observer and witness the character I'm playing. I'm fully in the character. I have fully merged with the character, and I am just that in that moment. I am literally in that moment. That is my whole awareness, is that character. I'm playing that character and I can't see outside of that character, and I'm not in awareness that I'm playing that character. I'm just in it so deeply playing this character. and I've been experiencing this a lot. And then, I'm in the emotions of it. I'm feeling the wounds of it. I'm just in it. And then, when it's really strong, and I'm like, okay, it's time to take a breather from this, and I step out of the reality. I step out of the field for a bit, and I come back into my little bliss field of being alone in the woods. It feels like surfacing. It feels like I dove to the bottom of the water for a moment, and I played in the muck, and I discovered things, and I uncovered things, and I washed some things, and I splashed around a little bit in the bottom. And then I came up and I swam up to the top, and I got a breath for air. And this moment right now is the moment of coming up for air, of breathing and tapping back into what feels like life to me, where before, when I travel down to these places, I feel like I'm not really living. I feel like I'm diving into the underworlds, diving into really deep dimensions, really heavy, dense realities, to poke and prod at wounds with the purpose, not that I am aware of it, I'm aware of it when I step out of it, but during it I'm not aware, to poke and prod at wounds in service to the other aspects of myself's awakening, to other people's awakening. And when I am reactivating old wounds, when I am shining a light and triggering people, I see that is where my light is getting in. I see that where the light in general is getting in. The light enters in where the wounds are, the crooks and crannies, the cracks in our hearts. The light gets in. The wounds and the pain that we hold within us are like being poked with a fork, like being stabbed awake. Like imagine you're sleeping and someone pokes you with a fork. It's like stabbing your hand with a fork to see if you're awake. That's how I experience wounds, and it's my deepest wounds, my biggest heartbreaks have been my source of awakening. Through every deep wound that I've experienced, little and deep, through every wound I've experienced, I have experienced awakening through it. So I know the blessing of, I've experienced the blessing of others creating wounds in me, and me feeling those wounds, and where it has led me within myself to experience those wounds, because wounds take us really deep. And then we cover them up and we try to numb them our whole lives, and that keeps us in a state of asleep. We stay asleep as long as we are not willing to feel, and we numb, and we just slip into the unconscious, and we're now existing and we're not living. And I was living that life. I just numbed, and I was not living. I was simply just existing, but not even really. I don't even know what I was doing. But I can see in others when I'm popped into their dimension, in their reality, and I'm in their field, I can feel that they're not living. They're simply just existing from an unconscious place, from numbing and all of the things all the programming, but mostly from numbing, from not feeling. And literally, it's like existing as a robot, pretty much like a zombie. When we are in a place of not feeling, we are literally just that, not feeling. And life is about feeling. Everything in life is about feeling. And if we can't feel, then we're not living. We're missing out on life. We're here to feel all of it, the highs and the lows, the pain and the love. Every aspect of life, we are here to feel. That's what we're here for. So when we're not feeling, we're not really living, and we're not remembering why we're here. So through my own experience of awakening, and as I continue to awaken and to rise into higher aspects of self, I know what a gift it is for the other aspects of myself in the form of other beings in front of me. That when I am playing a character that is triggering their wounds, and I'm playing a character that is poking and prodding unintentionally, but also in the energetics intentionally, to reawaken these wounds, these aspects of self that they have tried to hide away. Automatically, just my energy being in the field, I do that. Whether I'm playing the character or just my energy is reflecting wounds in them, it is reflecting their deepest wounds. And I know that it is a blessing for them, even though it's uncomfortable for me, for this character. It's uncomfortable sometimes to play that character because I don't want to play that character. I want to just love. I want to make people feel good and happy. But in order for people to feel good and happy, they have to face the aspects of themselves and the parts of themselves that are perpetuating suffering. So the most loving thing that the Divine Mother can do through me is to reflect back to them their wounds. And yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun to play that character for people. But it is the devotion, it's the service that is happening through me. It's not I'm choosing that. It's I'm choosing to be in devotion, whatever that means. And each day I don't know what it's going to mean. I don't know what it's going to mean today. I know the portal that I'm being called to travel to today. I don't know why, but I'm trusting it because that is my devotion to God, Goddess, to the Divine Mother, to you, to me. My devotion is just that, devotion. And I get to trust that I don't need to know what that looks like every day. I'm in devotion. I am devoted to awakening. I'm devoted to loving. I'm in devotion to the Divine Mother. I'm in devotion to the highest and greatest good of all beings. And then I get to just trust and let go and say, okay, Divine Mother, where am I going today? And how I receive the answers is through my body, through feeling. I feel in my body because I've built the relationship with my body to feel okay, to feel what it's telling me, to feel the little nudges, to feel in the energetics, to get a little vision, a little visual in my mind of third eye, whatever you want to call it. But how I receive it is through the third eye, but how I receive it is almost like a memory or just like a thought with a visual with it. And how we receive and feel energies and receive information and receive light, which is information, is different for all of us. We all have a different energetic blueprint, and we experience reality all a little bit different because you play a different code than I play. But that is how I experience, is like through my body. I feel in my body yeses and nos and where I should go and what it's going to feel like. I can feel in advance what that portal is going to feel like. And I just trust it. Because what else am I going to do? What else am I here for? If I'm not being in service and I'm not doing the work of the Divine Mother, what else am I going to do? Am I just going to go get a random job and go through the motions of going to work every day? And I can't do that anymore. I literally can't do that anymore, because to me and the code that I'm meant to play, I've done that. I've done that my whole life. And now for the last couple of years, the Divine is working through me, and my mission or my work doing that 9 to 5 and living mostly unconscious, not that everybody working the 9 to 5 is living unconscious. I'm not saying that. It is complete for me. It is no longer serving. That is no longer my devotion. That is no longer where I am being called. So what else am I going to do when I am literally living nomadically from my car and a tent right now? Because that is what I'm being called to. What else am I going to do? Am I just going to sit in the grass all day? Yeah, I could sit in the grass all day and play music, and sometimes I do. Sometimes it feels like the Divine is like, take a rest, just be today. Just be today, you've done enough. Just be and receive today. Recharge your batteries, recalibrate, go swimming, go just be in nature. And some days I know that's all I'm meant to do. And I just do that. And it feels like I'm on a cosmic vacation. It feels like the Divine Mother is giving me a day off. But there's never really a day off, because even the days that you're resting, you're doing so much in the resting. So much is happening in resting, and you are receiving so much in resting. Things move so much faster in the energetics when we are in a state of rest, because when we are in a state of rest, we are in a state of receiving. So when I'm in that state of rest and receiving, I feel so much happening for me in the energetics. I feel things speeding up and shifting really, really fastly in the energetics. And I just get to rest and observe it and be like, whoa, okay, all I get to do is just rest today. And everything is still happening for me, whether I'm taking action or not taking action. And even when I am taking action, which is participating in other people's realities and going to different portals and going to different people, places, and things that I feel called to, I feel drawn to, it is still not like doing. There's no doing anymore. The doing is complete. Where we've moved beyond that. We are here, we are human beings, and we are meant to just be. So it's not like when I go into these fields, I'm actively doing something. When I go to the cafe because I feel a call to go to a certain cafe, I don't do anything. I literally go and I get my coffee and I just be. My doing could be, writing or whatever, but it's literally just it's just something to do, I guess, while I'm in being, to keep myself entertained while I'm in being, while my field is just sitting there. And sometimes it's to bump into someone. Sometimes I end up having a conversation with someone. Sometimes I don't know what's happening. I just know that something's happening. And sometimes I get a visual of someone's face in my mind, of someone who works at the cafe, and I just, oh, there's a transmission that's meant to happen between us, just a conversation. And it could just be like, how is your day going? Blah, blah, blah. Like a simple conversation, but there's always so much more happening on the energetics. I could say, hi, how are you? But that energy exchange that is happening between us with the conversation, even if it's just nice day today, something like that, that it's an exchange of words. There is an exchange of energy that is so much higher than what the words are being spoken. So just trust it. There's nothing to overthink. There's nothing to do. It's simply just being, and then listening to the guidance of the different places and the different portals that you are called to just simply be. So, yeah, I've said this multiple times already, but trust where you are placed. It's like the Divine Mother is playing a game of chess and just moving us around. And, the chess pieces think they're the ones doing the thing. They think they're the ones taking the action and doing the steps. But it is not you. It is the Divine Mother. It is God through you, moving you around for your highest good, for your highest expansion, for you to awaken to the truth of who you are, because that's what the Divine Mother needs. That's what God, Goddess needs from us. We can no longer, there is no way forward for humanity in separation, in the state that the world has been living in. It leads to destruction if we continue on that trajectory. But the trajectory that we are on now is one of awakening, is one of unity. We are awakening to the truth of who we are. We are returning to our very essence. We are returning to Christ consciousness is being reactivated within us all. We are remembering that there is no separation between me and you, that you are me and I am you. And as we awaken, we are seeing that. The veils are thinning more and more every day. And more I can see myself in everyone. Now there's certain dimensions, of course, like I said before, that I travel down to that I can't see as clearly because I'm not meant to. I'm traveled down into a certain dimension that I'm experiencing more of what the people in that reality, the aspects of myself in that reality are experiencing life through. And I just become it. I feel like I'm an empty vessel and I become whatever field I am in. To play out different characters or whatever I'm meant to do in that role, in that field. So trust where you are being led, because where you are being led is somewhere beautiful. But where end There's a process to this. There's a process to your awakening. There's a process to your liberation. And it's following those breadcrumbs. It's following those little tugs inside of you that are leading to your liberation. And yes, those tugs are uncomfortable. Yes, the places that you are called to and pulled to are really uncomfortable. Last year, I was in Costa Rica, which was another place I was pulled to. I quit my job and went to Costa Rica. But I had also was living without a job for a long time before that, and then came back to Canada, got a job for a couple months and got an apartment and found some stability because that's just what my being was really wanting and needing. And then again, I felt called to go to Costa Rica, so I dropped everything, sold everything again, not that I had much this time, and went to Costa Rica and spent 3 months in Costa Rica, and again, just fully, literally became that portal, dropped into that portal with the people we met there, and me and my brother were spending time with, and I didn't know if I was ever going to leave there. I thought maybe this was it. This is where I was going to live my life, because I didn't know beyond the now moment in each moment. And then when I was complete, I didn't know I was going to be complete there, but one day it was just, oh, you're done. You can't be here anymore. It's time to go home. It's time to go back to Canada. And feeling certain people in my life really strongly, and knew that there was work to do within myself in connections with others that from Canada. So I came back to Canada last year, and it was really uncomfortable because I was forced to trust the Divine Mother. I didn't have money. And money would come in here and there when I needed it for food and stuff like that. I was always provided for the basic needs. I always had enough to feed myself, for gas for my car if I needed to get somewhere. Sometimes I didn't have gas for my car, but it was meant for that because I was meant to not move. I was meant to stay in a certain portal with certain people for a certain period of time, and then money would come when it was time for me to go. And it's been a really uncomfortable game that the Divine has been playing with me of how much will you trust? And if I would have had money, there's moments in the last 2 years that I would have probably not followed something, even though I knew it was alignment, because I wouldn't, to avoid the discomfort, and to be like, no, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to be there. No, I don't want to spend time with that person. But the choice was kind of overridden, even though there was a part of me that didn't want to. I knew it was the only way because I knew better. I knew there was the only way I'm supported is by following the Divine. We're always supported, but I knew that I had to trust. And I was put into places that I was meant to be. They were uncomfortable places. One of the most uncomfortable ones that I healed the most through, and I grew the most through, and I liberated myself and others the most through, was living at my family's in a tent when I hadn't experienced sleeping at my parents since I was 17 years old, and it was always a really uncomfortable place to be for me, and I avoided it as much as I could. And then the Divine Mother calls me there to live there in a tent. And yeah, heck, it was uncomfortable. But so much happened. And then when the time was, when I was done there, I thought it was only going to be a week when I first got the guidance. But then it turned into a month, then it turned into 2 months, then it turned into almost 3 months. And then, near the end of my time there, when I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I've been here, I've sat through it, I've faced myself, I've faced aspects of self, please open something else up. It was getting cold, it was August, and I was still living in the tent. I mean, it's August now and I'm living in a tent. But yeah, I trusted, and something else opened up, and then I stayed in my friend's trailer, isolated, alone, because that was the guidance, to be alone, and I could not be external. My being was so internal that I could barely even talk with anyone because I felt so awkward because I was so deep within myself. And once again, for almost 3 months, I was alone in a trailer, meditating, just eating fruit every day, and then spending a ton of time in nature, and I was just so deeply inward. But that was my work. And then another portal opened up, and a random stranger in a cafe that I felt called to go to a cafe paid for a plane ticket for me to go anywhere I wanted. So he paid for my plane ticket for me to join my brother in Sedona. And then that was another portal with magic medicine, and magic medicine as in the interactions I had and the experiences I had with my brother and his the people that he was spending time with. It was medicine for my soul. It was medicine for their soul. And then when that portal was ended, that I was complete there, I got someone paid for my plane ticket to come back to Canada, or to go anywhere I want. But I knew that I was going to come back to Canada. So this is how life's been, and it's still how life's been. You know, I don't even, like, it's so hard to even, like, remember what I was doing this summer. Oh yeah, I spent the winter living with a friend, and again, that was all medicine. And then it got pulled to Paris. I have no idea why I went to Paris, but I went to Paris and I came back. And now once again, living from my car in my tent. And that's pretty much been my last 2 years summed up in a really short form and just highlighting the main points. But that has been life in just full devotion and full trust, being called to all the people, places, and experiences that my soul needs and their soul needs, because they call me in just as much as my soul calls them in, to have certain collaborations, to have certain experiences that poke and prod at each other's wounds and each other's aspects of self that are still asleep, that are still operating unconsciously. So we are always in service and devotion to helping each other awake and step into our light and step into our highest expression. So I know this message is getting long, so I'm going to bring it to an end. I feel like it's been a lot. Trust where you're put right now. Trust where you are right now, because even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable, there's something there for you. Trust your guidance. Is it time for you to leave, or are you running away? Is it time for you to leave, or are you running away because it's uncomfortable? Or is your body telling you to leave? Is that why you're uncomfortable? You know, there can be both. So really learn how to listen to your body. What does it feel like in your body? And learn the cues of your body. This is something I help other people, this is something I help people with, is to energetically clear their own body, to be a clear vessel. Because when our body and our mind is filled with all this junk, all this crap, all these other energies, it's hard to actually feel and see clearly. So to help you clear your body out and feel clearly, so that you can actually hear what your body is telling you, what your intuition is telling you, what the Divine Mother is telling you through your own body. So yeah, if you feel called to work with me, my links are in my bio. And if you feel called to support me on my journey, by donation, my PayPal account link is below. This is all just to support me and my mission of doing what I'm feeling called to do in each moment, to serve the greatest good of all. So any contribution, any donation, any investment in me, in my journey, is appreciated. Anyways, if you've stuck around this long to hear this whole message, I really appreciate it. I hope this resonates. I hope you received something from it. I hope you received codes and activations and whatever you need for your highest good and your liberation. I trust that you received it in this moment. Many blessings, and till the next video.